Good evening and welcome back. I am so excited to be back, y'all. I was like bad under the weather, and then the weather got bad on top of us. And of course the holidays, I knew, they both fell on a Wednesday. But anyway, I'm so glad to be back and right on time because we need to encourage one another right now. And it's according on how you're looking at things, what you see, perspective, right? See you in a minute. Look, call some friends. They need to be in on this conversation. Call some friends. We'll be right back while you go call. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious, a freedom ride where we the people gather to build ourselves, our family, our community, and our nation. For the sound of America for Progress has reached critical mass. Understanding that we must put aside our differences to focus on the greater good. This is a place of collaboration to rebuild and restore our nation. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. Welcome again. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. Look, do not be upset and do not be disturbed because everybody who tunes in to Vivacious Speaks, we were ready for everything that's going on. I'm talking about the state of our nation right now. The most important thing that I need to say to us today is, first of all, good evening. It is so good to have you with us again. It's so good to be live again. We had some good holiday videos, but I want to see some comments. We have our production associate, Mackenzie. She's here to bring up all of your comments tonight because we want to comment, we want to encourage each other. But I have a confession to make first, okay? After I tell us, do not be afraid. Be strong and courageous. Because the nation is not self-destruction. You see, those of us who believe in the Bible, I don't know, I think we got so what I want to say, denominationalized, for lack of another word, and religiousized, for a made-up word, that we don't read the Bible for what it really says. Yes, it says in the end time bad things will happen, but we miss the sentence that says, but do not be afraid, the end is not yet. And for those of us who believe, the Bible says that he's coming back for a pure and spotless bride. And the church is not pure and spotless, right? So the church got to be prepared first. So it's not time for us to be scared. It's not time for us to be afraid, okay? Be strong and courageous. Y'all know before this time came, we talked about Project 2025. And I said, everybody be prepared. Well, I have a little unprepared story that will help us get prepared, okay? The first time it snowed here in Georgia, my family, I was so sick. I could not get out of the bed. I was so sick. And you remember I told everybody to make sure you have food in your house. I had no food in my house. pounds. Okay, none. I had no food. I was in bed sick for 2 days, and I had 1 can of green beans. I had eaten all of the food that I was supposed to save. So on the 3rd day, I was able to drive out, but I was still yet sick. Went to the store, almost passed out. Um, could not get food delivered on the snow days. I'm saying all this to say, this is what will happen if we don't prepare. I will not be caught again, okay? All the things I've been telling us to do to take care of ourselves and to boost our immune system, well, I hadn't done that in months. That's probably why I got sick. And I live in a part of town that I do have a friend that live near here. But you ever think about when you get sick and then everybody or something happens and everybody says after it's over, well, why you didn't call me? Well, that happens a lot. So I wasn't trying to think about who I could have called. And I probably could have called that friend on that 3rd day and sent her some money so that she could bring food to me. But I didn't think of it actually for real until now. And that's why I wanted to come on. And I do have a guest coming, but she couldn't make it today. Renata Collins is running for mayor. She's a woman in New Orleans that's running for mayor. And we definitely have to bring her on. Because we say we must return to people power. That's how we're going to save us. That's how we're going to save ourselves. We're going to return to people power. And it's going to begin with each of us. And she started with running for mayor. We also have a young woman that's running for council here. And we're going to have her on. And we're just going to have some people that's just stepping up. We talked about, look, if you totally supported by government assistance, we must begin to think about other things. So we have some people that's building pantries and building educational systems, not systems, but educational opportunity for our communities, for parents that's deprived in education. We're going to talk about those things because from then until now, we've been talking about how to build ourselves. But then again, so much is coming on the news. None of this is new to those of us who read and followed Project 2025. He's just trying to implement it all. Do not be afraid of him. He's putting a lot of stuff out there. Do not pay attention to all of that he's bringing. Remember this. Remember this. Kenzie, can we tap comments so our comments can show, please? Remember this. When the man, when the man he had the supposedly, I'm gonna say, the alleged suicide attempt on him, a fireman got killed. This person did not say anything, nothing about the man that was killed that was there at the rally, supporting him, that was behind him and got unexpectedly caught by that bullet. He did nothing to tribute that man. He wants your every thought. He wants your every moment. He wants your fear. to run you and tear you down. Okay? That's what he wants. But we're not going to give him that. We're going to focus on strategizing. And the first thing that we're going to do as far as strategy is concerned is we're going to think about ourselves. We're going to love ourselves and we're going to love our households. After our households, we're going to love our friends. I'm not going to tell you that there won't be difficult times, but I'm going to tell you this. We're going to be prepared. And this is how we're going to begin to prepare. But we have to do it. And I wanted to be honest about not being prepared so that we would understand how important it is to follow these instructions. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call family members that we have a struggle with. And we're going to begin to talk to those family members. And even if people have done things that would hurt you, I need you to get past that, to get over that. Because we can't let the hurt and pain separate us. We have to cross over that so that the love can unite us. I'm going through a situation right now, okay, on my job. These people I did nothing but good for. Nothing but good for these two ladies. And they got with the our leaders to take my job for their friend. They think I don't know that. But I really don't care, to be honest with you. But in the beginning, my feelings was a little hurt. Like, what? They didn't take my job, my position. I have another position, which actually turned out, he meant it for my good. It worked out for you good, which turned out to be an unofficial promotion. So you didn't do me no harm. And I say that to say, people think that they're harming you, okay? People think that they're hurting you and tearing you down. Their opinions is what they use to make the decisions that opinions should not have anything to do with. But I promise you this, every time God will cause it to slap them in their own face and to raise you up. So there's some things that maybe some family members or some people have done to you or caused in your life. I'm going to need you to look over that, because in the end, God is going to use that very situation to elevate you. Another thing, part of our culture, we lost were taking care of one another. There were times when generations lived together. Coming up, and probably because of the life that we live, my siblings, my sister and I, we were both single parents with daughters. We stayed together for a long time, raising our daughters. And still today, those girls take care of one another. And I'm just saying that it's such a time as this. It could be that the landlord can't afford to pay the mortgage. And especially in some cities, the insurance is horrible. Look what happened in Los Angeles. Right before the fire came, a lot of companies turned up because of the wildfires in California. The fires that's seasonal. When fire season was coming up, a lot of companies canceled the insurance. So people didn't even have time to scuffle and find this unaffordable insurance. And their houses are burned down. So I say that to say, I'm sorry, we're going to have to join together. We're going to have to join together. The prices of everything is so high. But salaries are not going up. Nola Reese said, good night, everyone. Good night, Nola. Thanks for joining. And thanks for making a comment. Glad to know you're here. And please, don't forget to like, y'all. Don't forget to like. I can see how many people is on, but I need you to like, okay? So we're gonna need to begin to build relationships that we can trust again. Because now things have become so wicked, sometimes you can't leave your children with family members. Worse than ever. Not that it wasn't always that way, but now worse than ever. So I want us to begin to prepare. These are the things that we must begin to do to prepare. And one of the main things is go back and heal relationships. And sometimes people have done things to us, to reiterate, that we just have to overlook. And God will work it out for our good anyway. We just have to trust. And I know a lot of people in the church, a lot of Christians are saying, oh, we can't do nothing. All we can do is pray. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Just like that. All we can do is pray. Is that all Jesus did? No. No. And that comes with knowing and understanding our purpose. That goes all the way back to, I'll say, last season. Why are you here? Why were you placed on earth? And what must you produce while you're here? What power are you graced with? When you know that power executed, I am blessed with knowing how to encourage people and help them move into a place to grow to their greatest potential. I will meet a stranger and encourage them because that's my grace. That's my power. Because I understand this. That's why he created me. That's why he put that in me. I love and encourage the unlovable and unencourageable. But God is faithful. He is faithful to perform his word. And for those of us who believe, and for those of us who believe they hear the voice of God, if he gave you a promise, he has to perform it. So if this was going to be the end of us, so we were all going to be some little monsters marching around in this man's army, how could the Almighty God who created us and him give us a promise that he can't keep? I promise you, just like the people that hurt you, this administration is self-destructing. I laugh. And God forgive me, like it's not a good thing, but I used to fight with people of different persuasions, even from different places in the world, about why in the world would you vote for that man? And God forgive me, but I look at them right now because they are shaking in their boots. And the same advice I tried to give them before the election, I give them now. Honey, look, I want y'all to hear me while I'm telling you what I said to them, because I also said to you, are your bills paid up? You got to work some overtime, get a little part-time job if you haven't started already. Pay your rent up a few months. When people inbox me or I'm in conversation and they start telling me some of the things they did to prepare and it's done, it even encouraged me because I told you I hadn't done it. How much cash you have in your house? If you wake up in the morning and the banks can't open, like he trying to take those people jobs, I don't think it's going to be legal. He can't do all this crazy stuff he do, because if you've paid into a system and if you paid into your 401k and if you have benefits, he can't just wipe those people's benefits out. He can't just undo that. He's so crazy. He don't know he can't do that. He's finding out the hard way. You can't do all this stupid stuff you think you're gonna do, because we were prepared. And I want you to pay attention to the leaders that was prepared. John Ossoff was prepared. If you're closed and you can't get no money and your rent is paid up, you got a place to stay. If you have some cash in the morning and the ATM don't work, you can get gas. I encourage people, look, get the prepaid electricity. Get the prepaid electricity and put about as much as you can. Everybody, extend your budget a little bit. But I promise you, if you're paying $200 and $300 a month in a regular bill, you missing all the tax. You missing all of the fees that go along with that. So when you pay $200 to prepaid electricity, you are getting $200 worth of electricity, and there's no due date that's going to charge you interest and penalty if you don't meet that due date. Let me tell y'all another thing I caught the credit card company doing. I was paying ahead. So when they say the bill was due on the 14th, well, I paid the bill on the 30 something, the end of the month, 15 days before it was due. But because they didn't get a payment on the 15th of that month, they were trying to charge me, um, late fees. So I had to go back and make them take all of those late fees off. Another thing, for every card you have, those prepaid cards, credit cards, your bank card, check your statement. I was finding all kinds of things. Look, the books you read online. I don't have no book that I read online. All that, go check it. Check it every month. And you have to stay on that phone with that credit card company or your bank until it's off. There was one company I had never heard of, didn't know what it was. They were charging some months a couple $100. I had to go back almost 6 months and get that off my card because I wasn't paying attention. Now I'm paying attention. You have to pay attention, and I know it's worn out. But also, my tax lady, Shannon Arnold, thank God, started telling me, make sure you get receipts for everything. I'll decide if it's good or not. That way, if you're writing down on your taxes, I'm telling y'all, we don't know who we're dealing with. So we're talking about money right now. That I spend this much money, I have my own business, or I drive for Uber and I spend this much money on gas a week. Even if you don't have every receipt, because sometimes, you might drive off and leave the receipt. Start getting there. Start getting backup for all your money, all your dollars. Because when they run out of crazy stuff to do, if they're not gone yet, because they're not going to last long with the foolishness they're doing. I promise you that. They're self-destructing. And we're going to have to apologize to many nations, but that's just the way it is. Okay? America's going to humble herself. And the meek shall inherit the earth. Okay? But I'm telling you, it might look bad, you might look nervous, but don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. Another thing is education. I think I spoke on this before here on Vivacious Speaks. America, the last time I checked, I think it was 2020, 2022. We were 22 in the world. I know 22 coming there somewhere. We were 22nd in the world as far as our level of education. I saw on the news yesterday, or maybe this morning, that America continues to tumble. America continues to fall. Right? As far as education is concerned. They don't teach reading and comprehension anymore. When we were young, I'm going way, way back, okay? Didn't have no internet. We had SRA boxes. And you had to pick the story and you had to pick the question. I don't remember everything that came with the story. They had questions that helped you learn how to not only read and comprehend. We also had phonics. We had a phonics book. And so we learned phonics. And still till today, people compliment me on my diction, but it's because I had phonics in second grade. And you remember when they came out with, my niece bought this for her grandkids, Hooked on Phonics. And she left it with me when she left Georgia, and I passed it on to some other kids. But we have to begin to get back to reading and comprehension. But I want y'all to know, of course, I say it every time I come on. It was a big deal to me, but my mom passed um, when we were young. So dad was our single parent. That's why I don't understand how single parent get to be such a big deal today. We've been having single parents for a long time. Well, I guess it's a big deal now because we don't have a community like we had then. So really, the community raised everybody raised everybody could, participate in taking care of the kids. So maybe I need to stop saying that. But anyway, we do the Negro National Anthem. I learned that I can tell you where I was standing. Oh, well, it was an old French house with ceilings 20 feet high, I think. And there was the dining room, but it was at the back of the house. And then the kitchen was behind it. So when we finished our Saturday work, we sat at the table and my nanny taught us the Negro National Anthem. In school, it taught us timetables, multiplication tables. At home, we had to know addition tables, subtraction tables, multiplication table, and division table. And when Nanny would make the grocery list, she would list all the numbers down, how many dollars, how many cents, and we had to go up the line like this. So when I grew up and I was counting money in church, they always wanted me to count the money because I could go up the line. And that's why my sister was so smart in math. She tested out of even statistics. But we learned that at home. I saw, but they revoked it because they're finding out again that all this crazy stuff they're trying to do. That they were upset because the Air Force no longer wanted to teach about the Tuskegee Airmen. Which I understand why everybody's upset, okay? But what would upset me more is that we allowed our children to graduate from high school without knowing about the Tuskegee Airmen. I'm so happy about the movie Tyler Perry just made. We can go to YouTube. Our children want to spend all that time on internet. Let's bring them to YouTube, okay? And learn some things, learn their history. That's why I could hear somebody say, oh, okay, I'm going back. Let me go erase that part. I was very upset. I said, because I was telling them about, the times of civil rights. Because civil rights, because we marched, because we died, because we were beat up and taken to jail. That's why you could come here. So don't just think this happened that you can come here. Canadian Airline brought me here. Like, girl, should I be mad at you? Because you couldn't even catch Canadian Airline. In 1960, of course, I was marching in 1960. I was a little girl. But I'm just using that for an example because it's real. So people today, because we did not bring our history, you think you're taking it for granted because you could come from an island or you could even come from Africa. And I told one of my coworkers just the other day, I told him, you can't dog us out because we black. You came and you think we're less than you. You came from the richest continent in the world to come here to make money. And you think I'm pathetic. Well, they didn't think I was pathetic, but You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't say that word. You think I'm poor or I'm sad or I'm uneducated and you're smart and you're intelligent, and you are. They were smart and intelligent. But you can't look down on us blacks in America. And you come here to work to send money to the richest continent in the world. And that's why love have to be at the top. Let's teach each other. What do you have that I don't have? Man, you came from Africa. You should be able to teach me a lot of things because I want to learn. I want to know. And I have someone who said, I'm making this documentary, and I need to go to Ghana. And she was from Ghana. She said, okay, come home with me. Y'all, I want us to love each other like that. I want us to love one another like that. Where we just give each other everything we have. Even if she would have said, well, Valine, tell me, because I'm sorry, well, Vivacious, tell me why you said I would not be able to come here. But because we were beat on the streets, we were marching, we were fighting, that's why they have DEI. And they thought it was going to be us because we were the one who provided it. That was reaping the benefits of it. And they hurry up and grab that back and rescinded that when they found out everybody came before us. Did y'all see Stacey Abrams' report? We were like fifth. Black people were like, white women were first. Blacks, we were like fifth on the line of people that were being blessed by DEI. I think I got the alphabets right. Everything is alphabets, so my alphabets running into one another. So let's prepare. Let's talk about food just for a second. And when I talk about food, I want to talk about provision. Can we talk about provision? Let's change that provision because time is going a whole lot fast. I'm enjoying this. I miss y'all. So I'm talking, and I wanted to be short today because this was our first time coming back. But let's talk about provision, and then this will be, and then we'll begin to close, okay? We talked about food, how people even got boxes. I forget what you call it, shadow boxes, I think my niece called it. And they planted vegetables in the boxes. And when they had extra, they would give to the family. Because of things that's happening to the food and the food not being clean, I think what would be great in our communities if everybody had boxes. And for to make fertile ground, we could switch around what everybody grew every year and every season, and we can share with our neighbors. Like if there's 6 people on this side of the street, we could share and everybody eat. If somebody go fishing all the time, they can bring fish, enough for everybody. Bring fruit and vegetables, enough for everybody. And share. How many times have I said, if you are dependent on government resources totally to live, you have to start thinking out of the box. That way, we can eat and have enough for everybody. Might not be what everybody, want to eat these $1 million meals. Like, I bought this $40 lunch today. I'm not spending $40 at no restaurant on my lunch break for food. Call it what you want. So everybody, we can swap and share. You have 5 closets worth of clothes. Start dividing this stuff up, because it could be your family members that might need some of those clothes. We can't sell everything, okay? We don't need to give it to Goodwill because they're going to sell it. We're going to have to begin to barter with one another. We're going to have to begin to, like, one person buy grits, one person buy a protein, cheese, real cheese. And we get after school and cook in the morning and get a list of which parents going to come on which day. And they could cook breakfast and prepare lunch before they go to work. Because if what that man had tried to do worked, and he's not going to stop trying, what our children going to eat? If he just cut off Medicaid, we have to help one another. That's why I say, talk to that person who offended you. Know that when people think they're hurting you, they're blessing you. It's okay. I don't care what the situation is today. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I don't care what they try to do with bills. Look, they're falling back because, first of all, even the Republicans are coming against them right now. The people that voted for them more afraid than anything. We're not afraid because we already know what you're going to try to do. But now they have the renege on some of this stuff. And we're not just sitting back. We were prepared. I am so glad that we have them politically on some offense, because that was always a big deal to me. Why do we stay on the defense? Why do we wait till these people come up with all of this? Well, we had people studying in 2025, and we coming up with the right lawsuits that's bringing some of that back. So don't just be caught up in the hype of what he's trying to do. Keep your eye on the winning side. Keep your eye on the winning side. Go look to see where we're winning. Keep your heart charged on the victories. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. The Constitution is not shadow. It hasn't always worked for us as a people. Not to offend any of my other viewers, but as Black people, the Constitution didn't always work for us. And we came out of slavery because the biggest winning that came out of the Civil War was the Black soldiers. But the biggest deal of the Civil War is that we fought together. And it's going to be unity. There's a scripture that says, when they come together, there's nothing that they can't accomplish. Somewhere in the book of Genesis, it was talking about they had come together and they weren't, I don't know, I'm not going to make up something that I don't know. So I don't know who these people were. But God said, I have to scatter them. I have to scatter them, and I have to change their language because they're going to do some things that's not too cool. When we come together, we don't all have to agree on the same thing. We don't all have to believe the same thing. And that's one thing I love about being a host on Vivacious Speaks, because I host the people. And I want people who come who believe different from me, because our conversations talk about and work together. How we gonna work that together? You believe this, you believe that. You believe we have to accomplish this. I don't know how we gonna make that work for everybody. You can believe whatever you want on Vivacious Speaks, but you have to make it work for everybody. Yes. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus on making it work for everybody. We're gonna make it work for feeding all the children. We don't care. We don't care their situation. We're going to make sure our children eat. We're going to make sure the parents that missed out on education, as the value and the level of education fell in America, makes it impossible for some parents to help children. So we can't just start right here with the kids and helping them. We also have to support parents who miss that part of education so that they can help their families and their children, and we can compete with the world again. Hey y'all, we're gonna win. Hey y'all, it may not look like it, but we already winning. Whatever it is in your heart to do, know that you've done it. It's already been done inside of you. Develop it and bring it out. It's done. And inside of me, and I believe that we're going to love one another. We're going to accomplish those things. We're going to do this. The victory is already in my heart. So it's already done. So everywhere I go, every time we come on, every time we meet together, we are producing victory. I want to thank you again. Thank you, Mackenzie, for being such a great production person that helped me get this together today. Because y'all, I hadn't done it in a little while, and Kenzie had to walk me through it, but we did it, Kenzie. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everybody. Please share this video so everybody will know. Do not prepare. Don't be afraid. Prepare, strategize. Do not be afraid. Be strong and courageous, because together we win. Thank you. Thank you for joining Vivacious Speaks. And please go to Vivacious Google business page and give us 5 stars. Thank you. See you next week.